Node just turned 15 years old, and there's a question showing up in every dev Slack lately, every conference hallway, every hiring thread. Is Bun quietly taking its place? Here's the honest answer up front. No, Bun isn't replacing JavaScript. And also, kind of yes. Node has never been more entrenched than it is right now, but in 2025, something underneath it genuinely cracked. What cracked wasn't the language you type. It was the assumption that server-side JavaScript only has one serious runtime worth betting a whole company on. Bun broke that assumption. Same JavaScript, same TypeScript, a completely different engine humming underneath it all. This isn't a toy benchmark either. Teams are quietly swapping their build scripts, test runners, and small internal APIs onto Bun, simply because it starts faster and installs packages faster. A boring internal tool that used to take a second and a half to boot now boots in under 30 milliseconds. Nobody notices a win like that until the day they are forced to go back to the old tool. So why did this get real specifically in 2025, after years of Bun being a curiosity? Because Bun's runtime finally grew up. Its latest releases shipped something with a painfully boring name, a rewritten package installer and module resolver. That dull phrase is the whole plot. A faster resolver means every command that touches your dependencies, installs, scripts, even hot reloads, got quietly faster across the board. And it didn't stop at scripts running on your laptop. Bun walked straight onto production servers 2 weeks ago. A well-known edge hosting platform quietly added first-class Bun support to its deploy pipeline. 2 fronts, 1 single shift underneath both of them. Let me walk you through exactly what broke and exactly what replaced it. First, some fairness though, because I genuinely like Node. It won the server-side JavaScript war for real, defensible reasons. It's installed on nearly every CI machine on the planet, and every tutorial you find defaults to it with zero setup. You can build almost anything with it. Nobody sane actually wants it gone. But Node pays for that ubiquity and overhead. Its module system, its process startup, its package installer, all designed in an era before raw speed was ever the whole pitch. For a slow-moving API handling a few requests a minute, you never feel the cost at all. For a CLI tool, a build pipeline, or a function cold starting on every single request, you slam face first into it. Developers hit that wall early and often. Back in 2017, one popular framework had already written its own bundler in a systems language and cross-compiled it down, basically tricking the toolchain into running faster. It worked, but it was a hack. That hack worked well enough that it eventually got made official, a real, from-scratch runtime, built in Zig instead of JavaScript itself. For the first time, Node had a serious rival, but version 1 came with real limits. Early Bun got exactly one thing right: raw speed on a single machine. What it didn't have yet was the deep compatibility layer Node built up over 15 years, thousands of native modules assuming Node's exact internals. That's perfect if your code is simple JavaScript with no native dependencies. It was miserable for nearly everything else: image processing libraries, native database drivers, anything leaning on Node-specific bindings underneath the hood. You might ask, why not just rewrite those libraries for Bun directly? Because native bindings reach deep into memory in ways that are genuinely hard to reproduce exactly. Compatibility was always the hard part. This is the exact wall that 2025 knocked down. Bun's latest releases are a genuinely huge jump: a faster bundler, built-in SQL and Postgres clients, workspaces, and a rewritten test runner. But one single feature towers over the rest: near-complete Node.js API compatibility. Now a project can simply drop into Bun as is and reuse the exact same NPM packages it already had, unchanged. That giant compatibility gap I just described, gone, almost overnight, for most everyday packages developers actually reach for. And once that gap closed, the frameworks came flooding in behind it. In a single year, Elysia, Hono, and even older frameworks like Express shipped official Bun support, every one of them just running on the same familiar JavaScript you already write. Frameworks that could never realistically recommend Bun for production workloads suddenly could, and efficiently, without asking a single team to rewrite even one root handler to get there. The performance upgrade matters just as much as the compatibility one. Old Bun struggled visibly under heavy concurrent load. The new scheduler handles far more simultaneous connections before memory even starts climbing. Whole categories of everyday tools benefit from that. Monorepo build systems, local dev servers, and CI pipelines that used to take several minutes now finish in seconds, without touching a single line of application code. So who's actually winning right now on your own machine? Honestly, Bun is. Its bundler and test runner replace 3 or 4 separate tools most Node projects still stitch together by hand. Projects using Bun as their all-in-one toolchain, bundler, test runner, and package manager combined, already make up a meaningful, fast-growing slice of new JavaScript repositories started this year. And adopting it really isn't exotic at all. You take a perfectly normal Node project, swap one command in your package scripts, and most of it just runs unmodified, often noticeably faster on the very first try you attempt it. Now, here's the part most people completely miss. Your laptop was never the real prize for Bun. The real prize is sitting out on the production server, running the actual traffic. The key that unlocked that is compatibility with Node's deployment story, the same Docker base images, the same process managers, the same hosting platforms, just running noticeably leaner underneath. And the deployment world quietly made room for it too. Several serverless and edge platforms now offer Bun as a first-class runtime option, listed right next to Node, with no extra configuration required at all. Then the money spoke loudly, the way it always does when a shift stops being theoretical. Bun's maintaining company raised a serious new funding round specifically to keep building the production side of the runtime. A typical containerized Node API can take the better part of a second to cold start under real load. The same exact service, rebuilt to run on Bun instead, routinely starts in a small fraction of that time, at roughly the same cost. Okay, now let me pour some cold water, because that framing really is a little unfair. Raw adoption numbers are still humble, most production Node. JS services haven't moved an inch. Across the wider web, Bun usage sits at a small single-digit share of new projects. It climbs meaningfully higher only among teams chasing raw performance, not the median API team. And I won't oversell it. A handful of very old, very native NPM packages still don't run cleanly on Bun. The tooling around production debugging is younger, and some enterprise platforms simply haven't certified it yet. So what genuinely dies here? Not the language and not even Node itself. What dies is a belief that every JavaScript project only has one sane runtime, and that swapping it out means rewriting everything. The shape that replaces that belief is simpler than the hype suggests. Node is the safe, battle-tested default everyone already trusts. Bun is the fast, opinionated alternative chasing the same NPM ecosystem. Increasingly, they are partners now, not rivals fighting over one throne. So should you actually care about any of this? If you maintain a stable, working Node service today, honestly, not urgently, and that's completely fine, genuinely. But if you're starting something brand new, writing CLI tools, or running scripts where startup time is basically the whole product, the floor is genuinely shifting underneath you right now. Here's my real advice: don't go rewrite a stable production service this weekend. Just try Bun on your next small script or side project, and keep one eye on how far its Node compatibility reaches. Node built the modern JavaScript server, and it earned every single bit of that reputation the hard way, over 15 years. It's just not going to be the only serious answer in the room anymore. If this changed even slightly how you think about your own stack, subscribe. This is where we take the hype apart, scene by scene, and show you exactly what's actually running underneath.